Hello back. Welcome once again to series tutorials by Mr. Saem TARIQ. That's me. Today we'll be solving 2012 May-June paper 2. Let's get started and let's see what the paper is all about. This is the paper May-June 2012 P2. You work as an ICT consultant for Rock ICT who produce and sell music. The band Lyrics are planning a UK tour. You're going to manipulate some data about the dates of the concerts and the places where the band will perform, the venues. You have been provided with source data files which you will need to examine carefully. So the first part, to create an evidence document. Second part, open the Rock ICT website using the URL this. Find the list of UK concert venues, extract all the data from the table and save this as this. I've already done this. We have the file as venue. Use this using a spreadsheet package. Open the file J12 tour. There you go. So you need to open up both files which are required simultaneously. Always make sure that you open up both files and then you start the work. There you go. Done. Next. Delete the top 4 rows from this spreadsheet. So top 4, delete them. Next, in cell C3 place a formula that will look up the name of this venue from the file venues. So cell C3, we need to find the venue name. So is equal to, we look for here from this file using this range. This is our range and we need to find the name. Obviously we need to find out the venue name, and the venue name in this range is 1, 2, is in the second column, and obviously we need the exact match, for which we use 0. All I do is I replicate, since my range is absolute. Next, in D3, place a formula that will look up the location of the venue from the file venues. So we look up this, from where? Again from the same location, and we need to find out the location, and the location is 1, 2, 3. It's the third one, and obviously we need the exact match. So here we go. Point number 7. In 7, place a formula to look up the capacity of the venue from the file. And the capacity in this case is our 4th column. Right. If I try to replicate this above, it will not give me a value, because obviously the point over here is this particular row, the storage. This is the storage area. This is not a venue. They have started their journey from here. This is why there is no capacity over here. So the next the miles to the next venue that we'll calculate will basically be for this one. So this is the starting point. The journey starts from here. Keep this in mind. Next point. Visually check the accuracy of your results from step 5 to step 7. In cell G2. Here we go. In G2, do what? Place a formula that will calculate the number of trucks required to transport the equipment to the next venue. If the next venue has less than or equal to 400 seats, then 2 trucks will be required. So is equal to, if the capacity is less than or equal to 400, is less than or equal to 400. I'm sorry, I didn't type. Is equal to. Then do what? Then 2 trucks are required. Otherwise, if greater than 400 and less than 5000, so if greater than 400 and less than 500, we can simply say greater than 5000, right? Then 1 truck for every 400 trucks plus 1 extra truck will be required. This means what we need to do is 1 truck for every 400 truck plus 1 truck will be required. So what we have to do is this value divided by 400, right? And we need to add plus 1, right? Yes. Next. Otherwise 5000 more, 15 trucks will be required. Yes or no? Let's check it again. Just wait, it's getting stuck. Okay, basically if F3 is less than 5000, we were doing greater than 5000, then this will be required. Now one thing that we need to do is, obviously what you can see over here is they're saying that if it's greater than 400 and less than 5000, then 1 truck for every 400 and plus 1 extra truck. So this means if it's 475, then we don't need 475, we'll just keep it 400, we'll round it down, and because 1 extra truck is required, so we don't actually need the 4.75, right? Because 1 extra truck is coming there. So all we'll do is we'll simply convert it into an integer. And the other way is that we use a round down function to round it down. Round down function will do the same thing. It will round it down. So if you want to be sure that you want to bring it down, use round down. The difference between round down and round up is that if you have 2.75, round up will convert into 3, and if you have round down, it will convert into 2. Round is a function that will convert accordingly. If it's 2.45, it will convert it into 2. If it's 2.55, it will convert it into 3. So round looks at the value and rounds it up accordingly. But round down brings it down, round up brings it up. Next part of the question. In cell I5, there is an alternate way of doing this using the AND as well. But if you're comfortable with this, fine. We can do it with the AND as well. But just try to understand one concept over here is that if F3 is less than 400, we'll do this. If F3 is less than 5000, then do this. Otherwise, it will be 15. Otherwise, which means if it's not within this value, within this range, it will not do this. It will give 15. Like in this case, like in this case. Right. Next, what we have is in cell I2, place a formula that will calculate the driving time in minutes between the two venues. Round it to the nearest minute. Each truck has an average speed of 55 miles per hour. Using the miles to the next venue column to help you. Now, if you look over here, what we need to do is we need to find out the driving time in minutes. And what we know is that each truck has an average speed of 55 miles per hour. 55 miles per hour. Right. So all we have to do over here is the driving time is equal to, now think over it, with the miles in the next menu. These miles, if we divide the miles by 55 miles per hour, so divide by 55, right? This is what we get is this much time it will take. Okay, driving time, this is in hours, but we need the value in minutes, so all we do is we multiply it by 60, and here we go, right? But what we need to do is, the question says round it, so we'll use the round function to round it, just the round function. You can refer to my lectures of data analysis if you have a problem with such a kind of formulas and functions. I've explained them thoroughly in my previous lectures. Next part. In cell J2, place a formula that will calculate the number of drivers that are required to transport the equipment in the next menu. How many drivers are required? Each driver can only drive for 5 hours and then cannot drive again during each journey. Can drive just for 5 hours. So we have to find out how many drivers are required. What we know is each driver can only drive for 5 hours. So 5 hours. Driving time is in minutes. So if I divide this by 60, I get the value in hours, obviously. And if I divide it by 5, I will get the number of drivers that are required. Did you get my point? Because each driver can only drive for 5 hours. So the first division was to convert this particular value into hours, and further I had to divide it by 5 to find out how many drivers will be required to drive the time. Because if I have 6.75 drivers, 6.75 hours, and if I divide it by 5, I'll get 1 point something. This means more than one driver will be required. Now what we need to do is, over here, we need to round it up. Now why do we need to round it up? Obviously because there can't be 0.4 driver. Yes or no? Yes. But this is not the right answer, because we need to multiply further. We need to further multiply this by the number of trucks. Yes or no? Yes. Done with this part? Right. Replicate this formula. Done. Place label and formula in appropriate cells to calculate the display the total number of miles, and the total. Place labels and formula in appropriate cell to calculate and display the total number of miles and the total distance covered and the maximum minimum value of drivers required. Total number of miles and total distance. So total miles. Oops. Not total miles, total miles. Total miles and total distance. Total miles will be I was supposed to sum it up using the sum function. And next we need the total distance. Total miles and the total distance is obviously the same thing. Yes or no? It's the same thing. And we need maximum and minimum. Maximum drivers and drivers is equals to max. And is equals to right. Insert a footer, right line that has the text this followed by your name, center number in the footer. So file, print, page setup, footer, where, right line followed by your name, center number, can number. And then followed by name, center number, and candidate number. Next, make all labels center entered in step 13 and all cells in row 1 center, italic and bold. Center, italic and bold. Right. Save the spreadsheet and print it into a single page with landscape orientation. Ensure all values and labels are fully visible. Do not show rows and column headings. So we need to print this in landscape and make sure we do not show the row and the column headings. Right? Make all the labels done, italic, save the spreadsheet, print the spreadsheet formula view, ensure all formulas are fully visible, show the column heading. So view, control tilde, tilde is this is the tilde sign, press control and this to view the formulas. This is known as tilde sign. And now you do the same step, print, and you print this. Okay. Make sure that while you print this, it's one page wide and one page tall. Keep this point in mind. And come back. Click and double click between the columns. Next. Now, point 18. Create a chart to show the number of miles driven to each venue on this tour. Select the most appropriate type of graph or chart to display this data. Ensure all labels are fully visible. So what we need to do is we need to make a graph between the venue, this, and the number of miles, which is this. So obviously we need to select is this, and then we need to select is this. Yes or no? Why don't we have miles to the next venue over here is because the journey ends over here. There is no next venue. And this basically, as I told you previously in the beginning, 26 represents for this one, Hammersmith Polo, the driving time to reach here, this driving time to reach here, this driving time to reach here. So all we do is we need to make graph. Okay, let's try it again, do it again. Select the data and okay, there seems to be okay, what do we create? We will create a chart. Let's choose one. The only thing that you need to take care of is that first you select this and then you select this, and then if you make it, yes, it will give you the right data, but instead of this, what we need is select data. We need is this, right? And do we need any legend? No, it doesn't say so, so we don't need the legend. Place your number on the chart, print alert. This could be the title. No, I would prefer this one. And number of miles. This is the venue. Number of miles. Okay. There you go. Fine. You can directly print from here or take into Word and you simply paste it here. Right. You can place your center number, candidate number at the top and take a print out of that. Next part. Your manager wants to explain to a client why validation and verification are used with databases and spreadsheets. Produce a word processed document of less than 500 words relating to your answer to databases and spreadsheets explaining your own words. Why validation and verification techniques are used. How validation and verification techniques are used. Apply the house style supplied by the client in the file this to your document. So first of all, what you need to do is you need to write a note on validation and verification. Okay. Like I said, an example of such a kind of notes will be available on my website very soon. I can just explain you a bit. What you need to do over here is, obviously you do know what verification is. Verification is done by humans, double entry system and visual verification. Validation is when softwares have rules defined at the back end and they perform checks in order to maintain data integrity. In validation, you can explain wide range of validation rules which can be applied in Excel, such as your range check, such as your data type check, such as your presence check, format check. You can explain this in Access, you can explain this in Excel by giving examples. So obviously when you start writing you can explain a lot and it will easily fit 400 words. It won't be a problem. Then what you need to do is, you have been given a file over here which is known as J1 styles. The text that has been given to you is, you need to apply the following corporate house style. Now, what do I mean by that? Compulsory styles. These styles must be applied to the document. The page size should be A4, orientation landscape. These are the dimensions you have to leave for the page. The footer has to have the following. Main heading that you type should have the following properties. Subheading should have the following properties. The body should have the following properties. And recommended style, if you have any images, should be like this, and if you have any bullets, should be like this. It's not something really technical. Next point. You are now going to prepare a presentation about Rock ICT. The first slide will be used as a menu. Produce a new presentation with 4 slides. On the master slide, include your name, center number, candidate number. So, view, slide master. Now, I will choose the second one. The reason why I'll choose the second one is that I will select one of the layouts over here, and over here I have selected the title layout. This is the one that I'll edit, and this is the one that I'll use during my presentation. If I go to view and if I add a slide master, you can see is that I have the title slide layout over here. This is my main slide. If I make changes to this, it will make changes to all the different layouts. But if I make change to this one, this will only make change to this particular layout which is defined over here. In simple words, what I say is this is public declaration and this is private declaration, which means this is privately declared and this is publicly declared. I can even show you that. For example, if I declare something over here and if I go back, you can see it comes within all the different layouts. But if I declare the following thing only in this, and now if I go back, it doesn't go everywhere, it just goes in this particular. So this is private and this is public. That's how things are defined. So in the first one, producing a presentation with 4 slides, and the master slide, on the master slide includes your name, send number and kind number. So obviously you should have your, didn't tell the location, so I can have the name, center number and candidate number. Right. On first slide, add the heading. Okay, that's it. On the slide master, I'm not supposed to do anything else. Just your name, center, and number. Okay. So what I do is I simply go back. I'll add new 1, 2, 3, fine, 4, and let me just make the slide footer visible so that I can see on all of them. So on the first slide, add the heading this. On the second, I should have this following heading. On the third, I should have the following heading. On the fourth, I should have the following heading. On the first slide, enter the text. On the first slide, enter the text this and make this a hyperlink to the third slide. And make this a hyperlink to the third slide. So make it a hyperlink to the third slide. Right. Enter the text this and make this a hyperlink to open this. Enter the text this. On the first slide, enter. Right. Okay. So, and we need to link it up with the following. So I select this and make it a hyperlink with this, right? And I give a proof of that. I can take a screenshot while I was doing that. So a screenshot evidence of how you created these hyperlinks in your evidence document. So you just need to open up this and show how did you do it. Take a screenshot of this part. On the same slide, add an image that could represent sending an email. Link this image to hyperlink to email to this within a subject line this. So I need to have an image. I hope I have some clip arts. Just say I'll use just any. Okay, go. So email. Do I have? Well, I can Google it up. It will save my time. But mail. Fine. This could represent. Where do you have to place this? I'll just place it here. Where? On the same slide, add an image that could represent sending an email. Make this image a hyperlink to send an email to this with the subject line this. Show screenshot evidence So I need to create hyperlink to an email with an email address this and with the subject this, and you need to take a screenshot of this. Obviously take a screenshot of this, print screen. Done. Obviously it's too big, I'll reduce the size. It doesn't say where to place it, so I'll just place it here, I'll just place it here. Fine. Print the presentation showing 4 slides on a page. So I'll go to print. I will simply print 4 slides on a page. These are known as the audience notes, keep in mind. Right, so we have 4 slides. Save and print your evidence document. So this was all for P2, May-June 2012. See you till the next lecture where we'll solve P4. Till then, have a nice day. Thank you.